a great experience. I want to echo the words of Javier Angula, welcoming all of you, telling you about the future plans of Plaza here. I'm so happy to be able to recognize so many of you, and some of you that I haven't known are here tonight, and I really appreciate your coming out for this great event. I want to mention my honor to have sitting at our table a possible Vice President of the United States, Javier Becerra. I want to also thank former members of the Board of Trustees who are here tonight with their families, the CEO of Intravision, Walter Ulloa, and his lovely wife, Alexandra. Also, one of our founding members, Antonia Hernandez, and her husband are here tonight with us. Thank you for being here. I'm honored, of course, to receive this award, a Pobladores Award. These are the 11 families that came here among us here. As we sit here in the site, they probably established their acreage and their homes, their thatched roof homes. These were the fundadores, these were the pobladores of the beginnings of the settlement of Los Angeles. And it's wonderful to be here in these grounds, and that this edifice here, this setting, commemorates their settlement to the city of Los Angeles. I want to thank Gloria Molina again for her vision, for her dream of having an entity that could represent and give life to the memories of those people, but of our growing community and the contributions that we've made to this city and to the state of California and its environments. Yes, indeed, we are a growing community. And those of us that have risen to political office, as you saw here at this head table, my friend Richard Alatorre, Alex Padilla, Becerra, the Senate President, Eric De Leon, yes. You know, all these people, all of these individuals have stood on somebody's shoulders to get where they're at. We stood on somebody's shoulders, Richard Alatorre and I, and Marty Martinez, and others stood on Roy Ball's shoulders, and somebody else ahead of them. And little by little, we have grown in magnitude, and we're going to someday be a great political force if we're not already there. Well, my whole career started with me being an auto worker and a member of the United Auto Workers Union. Working in a local factory nearby, I was asked by the union to join their international staff after having served about 3 years as a shop steward at the Chrysler Corporation. The international representative position took me to Washington, D.C., where I was assigned to organize auto workers across the Americas, in Argentina, in Brazil, in Cuba, not in Cuba, in Chile, in Chile, in Peru, Venezuela, in Colombia, and Puerto Rico. It was my assignment. And I was there doing this for about 3 years when a labor committee here in Los Angeles got together and said, we have got to put together an organization that can back up Cesar Chavez and his quest for equal rights, wages, and dignity for farm workers. And so the labor committee said, well, we need someone to head up the committee, and the consensus grew to say that I should be that person. So they asked the UAW to have me consider coming back to East LA, moving my family back from Washington, and I did take that job. And we organized a community union, a union that would help vitalize our community of East Los Angeles. As Gloria mentioned, you build the economic base there, give people power to deal, perhaps as a city. We tried hard to incorporate East Los Angeles. We failed at the last attempt. But we did build an organization. We gave those workers who later came back to help us in our political campaigns. And I can remember all of the events that we held in East Los Angeles, showing that we had this growing power, this great sense of a contribution to make, not only to our community, but to this nation. We had our soldiers fighting in Vietnam in great proportionate numbers, perhaps being used as cannon fodder, and that gave rise to the Chicano moratorium. And Telecu became an important element in that fight against the war in Vietnam. And so we grew and grew, we were on a roll, we were able to fashion proposals that brought in foundation grants to us, government grants that provided us for urban housing studies. You learned about the Maravilla projects being restored. And of course, all of this was for naught. We tried so hard to incorporate East Los Angeles as a city, which would have been the largest Mexican-American city in the United States. But that did not come to pass. In any event, I decided that my time at Telecu had run out. My union was calling me back to Washington saying that, okay, you brought in the first $1 million into Telecu, now it's time to come back to your old job. And I kind of thought about that. I said, well, I know what. I'm going to campaign for the unknown governor of Georgia who's running for the U.S. presidency. And I got on his committee along with the members of our Telecu and other people who worked precincts, who worked the campaign, and lo and behold, Jimmy Carter won. Jimmy Carter won that election. The committee came together and said we've got to make up a list of all the kind of people we want to see in Jimmy Carter's office. And among those were people like Gloria Molina, who became the deputy personnel chief in the White House. And among those, my name was thrown forth as assistant secretary of state because of my foreign dealings with the countries, the republics of Latin America. But there was another choice for that, and I did not get that job. But the president said, you know, you did such a good job, we would like to offer you to take on an ambassadorship to the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, which is based in Paris, France. Would you consider that? And I said, well, let me talk to my wife about it, see what she says, my family. And I did. And they said, what do we want to go to France for? I mean, what business do we have in France? And I told them the importance of UNESCO and how we could participate and help other nations of the world to come together around those issues, the mandates of UNESCO. And so they finally agreed to go to Paris. And so we went. And while we were there, they went to grammar school, they went to high school, and they went to college. My kids who are now here tonight with us went to those schoolings. And when it was time that the president said to me, you know, Esteban, I really like what you're doing at UNESCO. You've laid some real trails here for the United States, but I need you in my office. There's a consensus gathering that says that you would make the best special assistant to me to deal with Hispanic affairs. So I want you to consider coming back to the U.S. I know you don't want to come, but you know, you can say no. Well, how can you say no to the president when he tells you that? So we decided that we'd go back, but the kids didn't want to come back. They liked Paris too much. Well, they came. We all bundled up and we came back. And it was then that I considered, well, Carter lost the White House, and Ronald Reagan came in, and he said, you know, he used to say, "Oh, mi casa es su casa," and now he was telling us, those of us that Carter had appointed, "Adios, mis amigos, adios." And so we had to vacate the White House, which gave us the hint of what it's like to be in this kind of power sense, and then all of a sudden you're out. And it's like One day you're a peacock, and the next day you're a feather duster. That was the analogy. So, lo and behold, the 1980 reapportionment, or rather the 1980 census took place, and based on the census it required that there be additional congressional seats for the state of California based on its population. And who should head up the reapportionment program that was going to design these districts? None other than Richard Alatorre, under a mandate from the Speaker, Willie Brown. So there we have it. I opted out to run in that position. It was created for an Hispanic or a Latino, a Chicana in East LA and its surrounding environs. I applied for that job, I campaigned, and my campaign manager turned out to be none other than George Claw. So George Claw built a tight team, financially responsible. My family was included to the highest degree in that campaign, all my children walking precincts, knocking on doors, making telephone calls. They were a wonderful support mechanism. And I want to thank them tonight. I want to thank my family for the great support they've given me. I want to especially thank my wife, Arcee, who's been a great supporter, not only a financial and political advisor, but a loving wife who stood by me and allowed me to do these things, to represent my community, to represent this nation in the highest areas of honor and commitment. So thank you all for being here tonight. You've shown me that you care about Plaza.